Good morning children, welcome to the day 2 chapter 2 business studies for class 11. This is once again Anandi for your video class. In the last video session we learnt about the forms of business organization chapter 2. In that we have covered two important sectors. One is the sole proprietorship, another one is the joint Hindu family business. Once again the recap of the previous two topics. The first one is the sole proprietorship. Again I repeat, the business owned, managed, controlled and financed by a single individual is called as a sole proprietorship. In that we saw the merits, demerits and the expansion and what are the possible ways to sustain the sole proprietorship. Next comes the joint Hindu family business. The definition of the joint Hindu family business is nothing but the business carried out on the male member of a Hindu undivided firm is known as a joint Hindu family business. In that Karta plays a vital role. In that also we have learnt about what are the basic features and what are the merits and demerits of that particular private sector organization. Now in this lesson or in this continuation we are going to the third entity, that is nothing but the partnership. So let us look into the close definition. What does a partnership mean? A partnership is a voluntary association of two or more persons who agree to carry on some business jointly and share its profits and losses. Again I repeat, a partnership is a voluntary association. What is the meaning of voluntary association? I'm willing to associate with you of two or more persons and who agree to carry on some business jointly and share its profits and losses. For example, whatever it is coming in the business, I am going to share, either it is a profit or a loss, we both are going to share. This is called as a partnership. This is the next forms of business organization that we are going to focus in today's class. When we look into the features of the partnership, the first feature is two or more persons. There must be at least two persons to form a partnership. The maximum number of persons is 10 in banking and 20 in non-banking business. And the next feature which we need to do is agreement. Yes, agreement plays a vital role. It is an agreement among the partners which may be oral or in writing. Always in writing is better because the partnership may fall or it may go into a high or sky or whatever it may be, but agreement plays a vital role. The written agreement plays a legal vital role. The next feature is nothing but a lawful business. It can be formed only for the purpose of carrying on some lawful business. What is the meaning of a lawful business? See, for example, I need to start a partnership with my lawyer. The firm should be registered and the partnership deed should be there and everyone should have a written document. Like this, a lawful business to be there. The next comes the decision making and control. What is the meaning of a decision making and control? Every partner has a right to participate in management and decision making of an organization. Of course, all the partners are equally important in the decision making. Next comes the unlimited liability. What is the meaning of an unlimited liability? Partners have an unlimited liability in a sense they can able to gain or they can able to get finance from any banking sector. Maximum part can be given to them. The next one is a mutual agency. Every partner is an implied agent of the other partners of the firm. Every partner is liable for acts performed by other partners on behalf of the firm. I can't say that saying that my partner only I did this, I didn't do anything like this. You can't escape from the situations. Both of them are equally important and both of them are sharing the equal responsibilities. Next comes the lack of continuity. A firm's existence is affected by the death, lunacy or insolvency of any of its partner. It suffers from the lack of continuity. Of course, that is also one of the feature. Like sole proprietorship, if any one of the partner even after the death of one particular partner, the agreement deed or whatever it may be, it may get changed. There will be a lack of continuity in the business because the decision making will be chaos during that particular unwanted time. So these are the basic features of the partnership. The first one is a two or more persons. Second one is an agreement. Third one is a lawful business. Fourth one is a decision making and control. Fifth one is an unlimited liability. Sixth is a mutual agency. And the last but not least is a lack of continuity. So let us see what are the basic merits of an advantages of a partnership concern. Easy to form. It is very easy to form a partnership firm as no legal formalities are required to be completed. Even registration of the partnership firm is not compulsory according to the Partnership Act. So it is very easy to form this particular kind of business. The next comes the larger financial resources. What is the meaning of a larger financial resources? In partnership firm, all the partners contribute some amount of capital. As a result, the financial resources of the partnership firm are larger than the sole proprietorship or a joint Hindu family business, because in a sole proprietorship or else a joint Hindu family business, only one person is responsible and he is going to invest for the financial resources. But in case of partnership concern, there is a larger financial resources where both of them were equally responsible. The next comes the balanced decision making. As the decisions are taken jointly by the partners after consulting each other, the division of work leads to a specialization and efficiency in management and other activities of the firm. For example, if two partners are there, one is going to look after the administration, another one is going to look after the marketing. So it is easy. It is easy for them to balance the decision, bear the responsibility or whatever it may be for the firm, and one particular person need not to be pressurized for that whole organization. The next comes the sharing of risk. In sole proprietorship firm, only one person has to bear the risk, whereas in partnership firm, all the partners share the risk in the same ratio as they share the profit. The sharing of risk motivates partners to undertake riskier projects and earn more profit. So this is, I need not to be, it reduces the anxiety, burden and stress on an individual partner. The next one is the secrecy. Secrecy can be easily maintained about the business affairs, as they are not required to publish their accounts or to file any report to the government. The partnership firm is not required to publish its accounts at all. On the other hand, all the activities of the partnership firm are carried out by the partners alone. Only they take all the major decisions, so there is no chances of leakage of trade secrets at all in the partnership firm. So these are the basic merits of the partnership. One is ease of formation and closure. Second one is the larger financial resources. Third one is the balanced decision. Next one is the sharing of risk. Another one is the secrecy. So the next comes the limitations of the partnership firm. They will be having only the limited resources. There is a restriction of number of partners, and hence the contribution in terms of capital investment is not sufficient for a large scale enterprises. As a result, partnership face the problems of expansion beyond the specific site. See, for example, the number of partners is very limited in a partnership firm, as we discussed in the earlier slides. So when you just look into it, the capital investment will be quite less. So beyond one particular situation, the the company cannot expand. The next comes the unlimited liability. What is the meaning of an unlimited liability? The liability of the partners is unlimited, and they are liable individually as well as jointly. It may prove to be big drawback for those partners who have greater personal wealth. They will have to repay the entire debt in case of other partners are unable to do so. For example, when you just, in case of losses, especially it happens in the case of losses, the partners will not only lose their business property, but the creditors can claim over their personal property and also get their accounts settled. So I'm not responsible, we can't say. Instead, what we should say, in a sense, we should be responsible for repaying all the debits. The next comes the lack of continuity. What is the meaning of a lack of continuity? Partnership comes to an end with the death, retirement, insolvency or leniency of any of its partner. The existence of the partnership firm gets affected by the death or whatever it may be. Even partner can demand dissolution of the firm and time he desires so. The last one is lack of public confidence. What is the meaning of a lack of public confidence? Partnership firms are not required to publish their reports and accounts. Thus, there will be no confidence among the public, because they don't know what is happening inside their own company. So people do not have the trust in their dealings at all. So these are the basic limitations of the partnership firm. In a partnership firm, there can be a following types of partners. We'll start with a general or an active partner. Such a partner takes an active part in the management of the firm. As you all well known, the active partner participates in the management of the firm. His liability is unlimited and he contributes capital in the firm. He gets share in the profit or loss of the company. The next type of a partner is sleeping or dormant partner. What is the meaning of a sleeping or dormant partner? The partner who does not participate in the management of the firm These partners are bound by the activities of other active partners. These partners contribute capital, get the share in the profit or the loss of the firm. The liability of the sleeping partner is unlimited. It means he is not going to be actively participating in the decision making sessions. The next comes the secret partner. Who is the secret partner? He is the one who associate or relate with the firm is not known to the outsiders. He contributes capital, participates actively in the management, and his liability is also unlimited. So, I may be the partner of the firm. The firm, the one particular personality of the firm will be knowing about my partnership. None other than I will be in the back end of my decision making sessions. The next comes the nominal partner. What is the meaning of a nominal partner? The nominal partners are not the real partners of the firm. These partners do not contribute any capital, do not participate in the management, do not have unlimited liability, do not get any share or profit or loss of the firm. The nominal partner only lends his name and the reputation for the benefit of the firm. He is liable to the outsiders for the debts which outsiders have given to the firm, believing he is the partner of that firm. That is called as a nominal partner. So he will never gain the profit, no loss or whatever it may be, but his name is used by various means. The next comes partner by estoppel. What is the meaning of a partner by estoppel? The person who accepts that he is a partner in the partnership firm by his own words or conduct is known as a nominal partner by estoppel. For example, if Mr. X is an active partner of a partnership firm, applies a loan to Mr. A, who is not the partner, requests the financier to give the loan to the firm, he is also a partner of the firm, then Mr. A will be considered as a nominal partner of estoppel. It means he is a partner as well as he is giving an extra finance to that company. So that is called as a partner of estoppel. Next comes partner by holding out. What is the meaning of partner by holding out? The partner who does not call himself as a partner in the firm but who does not object when others call him as a partner of the firm. For example, Mr. X applies for a loan saying that Mr. A is also a partner in the firm. Mr. A shows no objection of the statement. Mr. X, then Mr. A will be considered as a nominal partner of holding out. It means he is the one who is falsely declared partner in the firm, whereas actually he is not. His liability is unlimited towards the party who has deal with the firm on the basis of the declaration. See, the partner of estoppel and partner of holding out is a slight variation. In this variation, the estoppel will give you the finance, but in this holding out, the next person, the partner X, will not be giving you the money for the finance. Both of them will be sharing the equal debts, whatever it is coming. So these are the various types of partners. Let us come back to the minor as a partner. This is also one of the particular types of partner. According to the Partnership Act of 1932, does not permit a minor to become a partner in the partnership firm. The minor can only be admitted to the benefits of an existing firm. See, for example, a minor is a person who has not attained the age of 18 years, since minor is not capable of enlarging into a valid agreement. He cannot become a partner of a firm. However, a minor can be admitted to the benefits of an existing partnership firm with the mutual consent of other partners. See, for example, if father is a partner of that particular firm, their daughter or son will be a valid minor partner. He cannot be asked to bear the losses. He is not responsible for the losses, and his liability will be limited to the capital contributed by him. So, according to the investment made by his father, his son or daughter will be a minor partnership. He will not be eligible to take any active part in the management of the firm. See, he can't be the decision maker in the partnership firm. Instead, he can be one of the person in the partner. He is considered to be a minor as a partner. We have already seen various types of partnership like active, sleeping, secret, nominal and estoppel and holding out partners and various things. Apart from that, partnership is two classifications are there in the types of partnership. Classification on the basis of duration, classification on the basis of liability. What is the meaning of a classification on the basis of duration? It has been divided into two: partnership at will and particular partnership. What is the meaning of a partnership at will? This type of partnership exists at the will of the partner. See, for example, the partnership formed by the indefinite period. This type of partnership exists at the will of the partner, comes to an end whenever the partner desires so. Any one partner can give the notice of dissolution and the partnership will come to an end. Based on the will, in a sense, based on the agreement copy given by the partner. The next comes the particular partnership. What is the meaning of a particular partnership? This type of partnership is formed for the specified June period to accomplish a particular project. For example, if I need to complete this particular building in the month of November, during that particular time I will be having a partnership with one particular person. This is called as a classification of partnership based on the duration. Again I repeat, partnership at will and particular partnership. The next classification is based on their liability. There are two categories. One is a general partnership, another one is a limited partnership. What is the meaning of a general partnership? The partnership which is liable of all the numbers is unlimited is known as a general partnership, which means if the assets of the firm are not enough, then creditors can settle their accounts by having claim over the personal properties of the partners. Each partner of a general partnership firm can be actively participate in the activities of the firm. In India, all the partnerships are general partnership firm. So, for example, if I don't have the money, I can add one of the person as my partner and ask him to invest in my own company. That is called as a general partnership. What is the meaning of a limited partnership? The liability for at least one partner is unlimited, whereas the other partners may have a limited registration of the firm is compulsory. See, for example, that is the partnership firm in which liability of all the partners except one partner is limited to an extent of their share is known as a limited partnership. In India, limited partnership was introduced by enacted in the year 2008. So, general partnership, there is no limited liability at all. I can immediately invest my company or invest my money to that particular company. Limited partnership, only this particular amount can be given to my company. It is not for the whole sum of amount. That is called as a limited partnership. So, this is based on their liability. In the previous slides, we have seen what is the definition for the partnership and the various types of the partnership as well as the merits and demerits of the partnership. Now, let us come to an important aspect in this particular session, which is called as a partnership deed. What is a partnership deed? The written agreement on a stamped paper which specifies the terms and conditions of the partnership is called as a partnership deed. It means it is a written document. I myself will be knowing where to stand in my partnership. In generally, what are the things to be included in that deed? In a sense, name of the firm to be included, location and address of the firm to be included, duration of the business, investment made by each partner. For example, if I am going to invest 3 lakhs and my fellow partner is going to invest 8 lakhs, that particular details, profit sharing ratio of the partners, either it is going to be 50-50 or 60-40, who is going to take 60, who is going to take 40, all these things will come under this category. Terms relating to the salaries, drawing interest on capital and interest on drawing of partners. See, for example, terms relating to salaries, as a partner, am I going to get the salary? Or else am I going to receive my capital investment, or else I am going to get my interest of that particular firm, or whatever it may be, that has to be specified. The next one is the duties and obligations of the partner. Which part I am going to take, whether I am going to take a marketing side or else I am going to take an administration side. The next comes terms governing admission, retirement, expulsion of the partner. It means what is the term which I am going to do, which category I can belongs to, whether I can be retired from the partnership or not, or how for the auditing purpose, how can I prepare my accounts in a further way. All these things to be clearly specified in the partnership deed. The last but not least is method of solving a dispute. In what way I need to solve my dispute. That has to be very clearly mentioned in this partnership deed. If the partnership deed is done properly, obviously all these things will be carried out in a proper procedure. Not only making the deed is very important, we need to register the partnership effectively. The registration is not compulsory, it is optional, but it is always beneficial to get the firm registered. The consequences of non-registration of the firms are A partner of an unregistered firm cannot file or suit a case against another one. For example, if I am going to mishandle or manhandling is not done properly among both the partners, so I am unable to file any of the case against that person. The firm cannot file a suit against a third party. If some accredited amount need to come to my company, that cannot be taken care because the firm is not registered at all. The next one is the firm cannot file case against each partner. That's what I told you in the first session itself. If I'm comfortable with my partner, well and good. If I'm not comfortable with my partner, always the partnership deed speaks a vital role. So this is how the partnership registration will work out. Always partnership registration will help you a lot for the development of a business. So within this, we are completing the next form of organization, that is called as a partnership. So this is once again Anandi from Pon Vidyashram Group of Schools. In this day 2, we have learnt about the various forms of organization. In that, an important aspect is called as a partnership. What is partnership and its definitions? Continued with that, we have learnt about the merits and demerits and various types, and what is a partnership deed. All these are important aspects in a business criteria. If you are not going to follow all these procedures properly with the deed of partnership, again we will not be running an effective business strategy for the forthcoming years. So within this, I am completing this day's video. We will see in the next day videos. Once again, this is Anand.